remember one time my English teacher, I think it was looking for somebody from our class to send to the spelling contest. And she, I think it was a female, she had like 5 or 6 students, and she had asked us questions. So I was one of the 6. Asked us questions, and then we spelled words on the board. I remember one of the words that was asked to be spelled was coup d'etat. I happen to have learned just recently the spelling of that from my brother, and I got it. We were on the board. My classmates were looking at what I wrote. They were all laughing until my teacher said, "He's the only one who got it right." I used to tell my math students, the only difference between a difficult question and an easy question is if you know the answer, right? If you don't know the answer, it's a difficult question. If you know the answer, it's easy. Coup d'etat is easy to spell if you know it. You know the answer. And one time also, I'm pretty good in math. I would say above average in math. One time, I must have been absent that day when they taught this lesson, or I wasn't listening. But one time, the teacher gave us an exam. It was a simple exam. All of you who know the answer or how to answer this problem, this would be easy for you. But those who don't know, it would take you a long time to get answers. But the test was about multiplication by and division by tens, hundreds, and thousands. So we were given, 5, 10 problems. But simple, like 9 times 10, right? How do you do that? How do you know the answer? Simply add 0 to the 9, right? If you know how simple it is, it's easy. I did not. So I took time. 9 times 10, okay. 10, that was easy, pretty easy. But the numbers became bigger. And I didn't know that you simply put a 0 beside whatever is multiplied by 10. It took me longer. In short, I didn't finish the exam. I was very stressed, and my classmates did not break a sweat because they knew how. They knew the answer. We find in the situation of Israel in Gideon's time, at the time when he was called, they were looking for answers. They were looking for answers to life. They were looking for answers for survival. Because they were being oppressed by the Midianites. They would work their fields, and the Midianites would just plunder what they have worked hard for. When Gideon was called, we were given the story that he was beating out wheat in the wine press. Why? Nagtatago eh. Ayaw niyang agawin yung wheat na binabayo niya. Makita ng Midianites at kunin pa sa kanila. Yung liit nung kakainin nila. Nagtatago. That's when the angel of the Lord found him. That very awkward and ironic. Found him and addressed him as a mighty man of valor. Ako na nagtatago. But the angel had the answer for him. Get back to Gideon later. Angel had the answer for him. In the New Testament, in the book of Acts, the disciples, untrained, uneducated, were in front of the bigwigs of the Sanhedrin, the who's who in religion. The very people who Jesus described as searching the scriptures, yet missing the point, not knowing the answer, not knowing Jesus himself, of whom Moses in the law and also of the prophets wrote. This very Jesus, the apostles found. This very Jesus Philip found. and made known. In our reading of the gospel today, made known to Nathanael. We found him of whom the scriptures wrote. He answered to our life's problem. He answered to death. The preaching of the resurrection. What the Old Testament was talking about when it said, here I have ordained the blessing, life forever. This is it. This is the answer. The resurrection from God's provision for His people. We are to know this answer so that life would be easier. Not easy, but easier. We won't have to struggle. We won't have to be weary. All of us who are weary and heavy laden, all of us who are sweating, when the answer is just add 0 to a number, God wants us to find the key to life. And this is Him, Jesus, His Son. When we know Him, life would not have to be bothersome, wearisome, burdensome. Because Jesus has conquered the enemies of life, the impediments of life. He's the resurrection. He's the answer. He's life forever. He's the blessing of God. We are to know Him, and we are to make Him known. Where do we find Him? Where did the angel of the Lord find the answer for Israel that God could use, that God could bless? In the least, the lost, and the lowly. Gideon said, I'm the least in my family. My family is least in my tribe. My tribe is least in the house of Israel. The least, the lost, the lowly. That's where we begin. If you, in a simple carpenter, you'd see the Son of God. If you would choose to lose while you could win, you could give your life away for nothing in return. And you are where the kingdom will begin. It says a very popular story 30 years ago. The least, the lost. Sometimes we miss Jesus in the beggar, in the needy person who's crying. We drive by them, we pass by them, we walk by them. We say, I'm too busy solving or looking for the answer to 563 times 10. And we sweat it out. The answer is right in front of us. That's where we begin. That's not the end, by the way. That's the beginning. When we find Jesus, we start growing in the knowledge of Him. And a big part of that increase in the knowledge of Him is also making Him known. That catalyzes it. What might I use that word? Knowing Him, growing in the knowledge of Him, making Him known, and preaching life to those who are most in need of hearing it. The good news to those who are poor. Poor in spirit, poor in everything else. Those who don't know, 9 times 10 is simply at 0 to 9. The answer God has provided for us, life forever. The very way it is in the kingdom of our God.